With Big G, what is good? So, is Marvel better than DCU or DCU better than Marvel? What is my take? You know, to really sit here and say that that would be a very interesting, in a way to put it together, or a theory of mine. No, I can say this. When people assume that Marvel's better than DCU or DCU's better than Marvel, you have an argument. But I mean, if it was worth my time and effort to talk about it, or come up with some kind of theory, it would be. If it made sense in my mind, it would pan out the way I think it would. But to really touch on that, you know, it would be a very, I think, easy discussion to have about that. Which is better than who? So I'll say this much about it. I think realistically, you look at what DCU's created, you look at what Marvel's done, what side would be better than what? And I can say this about it, that, I've seen literally every single Marvel movie. At the beginning, the post-credits, never left the theater, did all that. DCU, sat through it all, seen some decent post-credits, nothing crazy, this, that, the whole 9 yards. And DC's always lacked in post-credits anyway, so they never really showed a lot, but they did some in Aquaman and all that, but you'll think there'd be more that would, take a little more, be a little more serious post-credits, like more, interesting, things to look at, going forward with, all the stuff they're trying to accomplish, I have seen better post-credits of the MCU now that's tied to every single movie that I have seen. Never disappointed. Never. But I've always been a little, disappointed with DCU and their post-credits because they never had a lot to really tie into anything. Like I said, some with Aquaman, but not many with really much else. I mean, some here and there, but nothing really too shocking that makes the world go, wow, here we go. I mean, you had Black Adam and Superman, that was one thing, but that never gonna happen anyway, because I'm done with that shit. So, I mean, between both sides, I would say Marvel is fucked up so much better with post-credits and, tying movies together properly, and keeping things, in line with the cast and the people that they work with, really keeping it all into one, saga within it, telling the stories properly and connecting everything properly. I mean, have we gotten out of DCU at all? I mean, it hasn't really made a hit, through the world of superheroes at all. It hasn't made a dent in anything. I can honestly say I don't think it has, with some. But, again, I think they've lacked so... Tessa! I think they've lacked so much in that it's kind of disappointed everybody who thinks that, being a fan of either one, you're gonna get something better than the other. And with, the MCU, we got more and better stuff. But you can't count out DCU, but you could if you really wanted to. There's really not much to say that matters about it, that, I really give a rat's ass about it as much that most people would. They would argue that, oh, you're wrong, you're full of shit. What the fuck you're talking about? To a point, I think I do. I mean, you can't sit here and say that DC's accomplished anything really successful throughout the years that have made major news. I think the only thing that's really been great, I would say for them, was Aquaman, and I would say Justice League. I mean, that's only two big things that really count in my book. Everything else, to a point, yes, but I mean, it's like a damn shamble of distress that you take all this success, and what do you get out of it with this stuff? I mean, One side, you want to succeed better, build it up, make a better franchise, really bring in better characters, and, you know, I think to a point we've gotten at, you know, with what they've done, but it really, not just, it turns the tables a little bit in different directions, like a, big fucking, 360 on this shit, and it really kind of culminates into what, people want it to be, that, okay, you have a saga that's, each Passover that makes sense, and that really brings the audience, to excitement. And I think to a point that Marvel has done that more than what DC's ever have. I mean, they tried to build up their own way back then that, some of it is worth a decent conversation, but some of it isn't. And I think doing all the stuff that they're trying to really do them could be outweighed what people's opinions are about it now. That yes, one side has been better. Yes, it has struggled a lot to really keep things on even things that just don't ever work. And that's been the biggest disappointment for me. It's like you're trying to build something here that could have already been better than what people want it to be. But how have we gotten that? How have we gotten that success beyond what people want it to be? I mean, to a point, yes, I know on some of it, but it just feels like it's just a bunch of bullshit that you try to tie it all together into what kind of craziness we get out of this. That's kind of been like, if these two had their heads on straight and they kept what they had, we wouldn't gotten a better version of these characters that people wanted it to be. And it's been just very, very disappointed at times that I think they've lacked in that. And it has. Because it is. And I'm not gonna sit here and fucking, take, a side of anything that, one has been more successful than the other, which to a point most of it has and hasn't. It's just, trying to keep the word on shit is saying a lot. And I think that kind of ties into a theory of mine that you want one side to kick ass and succeed, but the other side is just pushing too fucking slow, and shit don't really ever pan out the way people want it to be. I think that's my biggest problem with a lot of it is just, what the fuck is going on? And you want one side to kick ass, you want the other side to succeed to a small extent. And, I think Marvel's done that gratefully, and DC has tried to come back from that, but their major issue, I think, to me, is just, it has to be a very innovative series. And what they did then is what they had to do now. You want to improve it, improve the characters, improve the storylines, make it fucking worth a while. Bring back the excitement of DCU. And if they can pull that off, then holy shit, they can do it. If they can't, then you're just wasting your damn time and effort. I mean, this is why I like the MCU better. You get a proper story, you're getting badass characters, you get continuations of these characters, you get new faces in the MCU. I mean, this is shit that makes it exciting. And DC is yet to really kind of kept that in motion. I mean, we've had characters we've seen, but again, they're not sticking around, so it's like, okay, what's the fucking point of even thinking that we're gonna see that again? That kind of brings it to an extent that's just like, what the hell we get out of this? I mean, we're supposed to get a decent group of superheroes, but we'll get nothing but bullshit and false promises. It's very aggravating to most fans that believe in DCU and believe in the MCU. Like, you get more than the other. And to me, I believe that. I think that we want the best quality in movies. in superhero world. You want the best of the best. One side's lacked that for a while. They've succeeded to a certain point of it, but now it's just like you flip a coin. What are you gonna get? Disappointment or excitement? It's very common to have people think that, and it's sad enough that it's true. I mean, we've gotten so many things that just like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to make this shit better? And again, who knows what's gonna happen? It's a win-loss for both sides. It really is.